What's up guys, welcome back to another video, hope you're all doing well today. I think the time has finally come where I give this factory bike a go. Now, for those of you that have been living under a rock, recently there's been kind of some, I wouldn't say uproar or drama at all, but we've had some new bikes put into the game, and these are what we are calling the factory bikes. This is created by 1110 Mods. There is a 250 and a 450 equivalent of this this factory bike, both on the Hondas, and I'm on the 450 right now. I didn't have a massive urge to ride the 250 at all, although I did see a lot of people saying that it felt really good. So I thought, since I am a 450 rider, I thought it might be nice to hop on this bad boy and see how she rides overall. And I thought probably riding the TFC tracks that I've already been grinding a fair amount this year is probably a good place to start. And these are going to be my absolute raw impressions. I've not touched these bikes until now. I think it would be a good idea to see how they play, how they feel, and then my opinions on them. They are released as like just an open test, just to gather feedback and see how they ride. And I've seen a lot of people saying a lot of positive things. And when I tell you I've been asked over and over and over again when I'm going to play them, it's not a joke. Underneath every video there's at least 2 or 3 comments. I've done a live stream and I had a bunch of people asking if I was ever going to ride them as well, so we're going to see how it goes. I was fortunate enough, I did manage to get to ride an early version of the 250. However, I've never ridden this 450 that we're trying right now, so it should be quite interesting. One thing that's a bit weird straight off the bat is just how bumpy the bike looks underneath me. It looks like the front end's moving all over the place, but saying that, it does seem to be absorbing a lot of the rough stuff quite well, so that's good. Maybe that's just because it's moving about so much, it's absorbing it all. And you'll have to forgive me, I am recording this after basically an entire day of playing MX Simulator. You've already seen I've just been raising my hand by mistake rather than actually braking, because my buttons are bound different on bikes than they are on Sim. I do apologise for that, but I'll try my very best. I'll try my best. I've been enjoying a bit of Sim recently, although you'll probably see a video either later today or same time as this video but tomorrow of me getting quite frustrated. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to go into much more detail than that. But yeah, I've been liking Sim. You would have seen I've done a stream on it the other day as well, and I'm not sure why. I can't stream other games without people asking why I'm playing the other game. I had quite a few people saying like, oh, does this mean you're playing Sim full time now, you're leaving bikes? Like, no, I'm just fancy playing some Sim. I'm a little bit annoyed at how MX Bikes has been treating me recently. You know, the physics have been a bit wonky. Paboso doesn't seem in any rush to fix anything, so it's nice branching out a little bit now and then. And one thing that made me really happy actually was there was over 100 people or so sat in that Sim live stream, which I didn't expect. I thought the majority of you guys are here for MX Bikes and MX Bikes only, so I do appreciate that, so thank you very much. So let's get my thoughts on this bike, because there has been a little bit of drama revolving around them and their release, because it instantly went to a factory bike versus OEM bike debate and conversation. And one thing that I want to throw out there is I will try to be as on the fence as possible, because the people behind 1110 Mods I would consider myself friends with. I hope they feel the same way. Mr. J Mertz and Emil specifically. I talk to them, I get along with them okay. And then I'm also friends with the OEM team as well. So when there is this back and forth and debate on what's best, what should be used in the game for races, etc., it's a very tough position for me to be in, because I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. You know, I want to be the good guy for everybody. But I will say, and I voiced this opinion actually in Discord to I believe D Mills and J Mertz, the main 2 people behind this bike, is I was in the MX Simulator scene when it started going down the route of everybody wanting the game to be easier, which meant all of the tracks that we were racing on, the RF tracks at the time, were getting easier and easier, and the traction was getting higher, the ruts were getting bigger, and everything just turned into like this massive highway. And I'm kind of worried that we might end up going down the same route again, because if we're being honest, if we put 2 bikes side by side, if we put this Honda 450 directly next to the OEM Honda 450, and one bike is a lot easier and faster than the other, 99.9% of the community, they're going to go towards the easier bike, aren't they? Let's be honest. There's only going to be those few die-hard fans, I think, will stick to the hard stuff. And I don't blame anyone for that. I know that majority of the player base on this game is a casual one, and I know that my opinions and views sometimes can be muddied from the competitive side of things, where that's where I spend most of my time on this game. Is I don't really play it other than like the 30 or so minutes to record a video. Outside of that, it's aerial stuff, or MXGP or whatever the event may be. So I'm probably quite biased in the competitive direction, but I did voice that because it sounds like people were hopping on the 250 version of this factory bike that got released and instantly going and running burners, and they were saying that the power felt like that of the OEM 450s. And that scares me a little bit because I don't want the competitive side of this game to turn into an absolute sweat fest where people are running it going Mach 10 speeds everywhere. I like the element of difficulty that we've got in the game right now with the OEM bikes, and it's not just easy mode and cruise control, because I mean, hopping on this bike, I can already tell you that it's much easier to ride than the OEMs are. It seems to soak up the bumps a lot better from stock. I've not had to touch the suspension at all. I've not changed the swing arm like I usually do on bikes at all. I've done nothing. Let's see if I can send this bad boy. I can't send this bad boy, so maybe it's not quite as easy as I'm letting it on to be. But it's very easy out of the box. It will take me a little bit, I think, to get used to how much the bike's moving underneath me in this dynamic camera. It's probably not noticeable in third person. It probably makes no difference. It'll only be a select few people that it affects. Power delivery feels good. Like, it feels powerful, but it doesn't feel like it's disgustingly powerful, which is good. It seems like the 250 is a bit of a difference, but apparently, I mean, I have no knowledge of dyno charts, like real life numbers, anything like that. And yeah, apparently the real life factory 250s aren't that far away from 450s in general, which I can believe. The factory boys they get the best of the best. Them boys absolutely schmooth around the track, so it doesn't really surprise me. I think what I would like to happen in an ideal world, I know it probably won't be the case, I would love all bikes to kind of like merge together and everybody share their findings and what works and what doesn't work with the game physics. I think there's a lot on this game that can be helped by the bikes we ride, but there's also a lot of base issues with MX bikes that it's just down to Paboso and Paboso only to fix. So that's always going to be a difficult one. I mean, the Parlour track, for example, we have that really steep uphill in the back corner of the track that the bikes get all sorts of wonky over. I even tried that hill on the stock MSM Paboso bikes, and you still get wonky physics as well, so it is an issue with the base game. So I'm not sure how much that can be fixed with physics, but I'd love everyone to kind of all be working together and sharing their thoughts and findings. That would be amazing. But then I am also under no illusion that different groups of people probably have different goals in mind on what works and what doesn't work. I personally am a big fan of us getting all sorts of different bikes. I love riding the CRF 110 mod that got released a while back. I love running the smaller bikes. I think they're quite fun. So I'm all for new bikes coming into the game. The only thing that I'm scared of is, like I said earlier, I've seen a lot of servers running these bikes now, and I'm kind of worried that the game will just go down the direction of these bikes only. I think ideal world, if it does end up being a case of OEM bikes and factory bikes are split, I'd love there to be multiple classes that you can choose to race if you'd like to. Like, no different to riding a 250 or riding a 450. I think it'd be cool having maybe a factory class or a stock OEM class. Maybe, I mean, this is all just spitballing. I mean, it's all up to event organisers and whatever bikes get released in the future anyway. Maybe you go along the lines of maybe the amateurs ride OEM bikes, maybe the pros ride factory bikes, and like, you kind of like upgrade as you go. That could be a cool idea. I know there's other series out there that do use different bikes entirely, like the Brazilian series. They use the CBMX pack. I don't ride CBMX bikes anymore just out of respect for the legit content creators on this game. I know it's hard getting the numbers and getting the bikes in game and handling, but the actual ripped model side of things that the CBMX bikes are, it's hard for me to get behind that. I leave that to certain other YouTubers who I won't name. Overall, I think it's cool that they're kind of doing their own thing. They've got their bikes, they know what they like, they've got their series, and they kind of keep to themselves for the most part. So I wouldn't be against like doing other series. I mean, this bike seems quite straightforward to ride. It seems to handle the rough really well. I noticed I've not come on here and instantly set an absolutely blistering lap time. There's actually some places around this track where I feel like I'd be able to go faster on my OEM Honda 450. But maybe it is just a case of the 250s are superior in terms of speed and handling to the OEM ones, and the 450s a little bit closer. Maybe it's oh god. But I think a lot of it would come down to familiarity as well. You know, I've got a good amount of hours under my belt on the OEM Honda. I know how it's going to react. I know how it goes over bumps. I know how fast I need to go to clear certain jumps. So a lot of it's probably a muscle memory thing. And like I said at the start of the video, I have been playing a lot of MX Simulator today. I mean, let's try pushing it down this hill, see how she handles it. I mean, that was fairly smooth. That hill does cause a little bit of skipping on the OEM Honda. So I think in amongst all of my rambling and ranting, I'm not against other bikes being put in the game at all. I think anybody that sits down and puts the time into making bikes, if any of you had any idea what goes into making these bikes and the programs that are used and how just backwards and nonsensical the programs are that Puboso has used to get bikes into this game, you would have a whole different level of respect for anyone that puts the time in to actually make them. So thank you everybody that makes bikes for this game. I certainly appreciate it. You definitely make my life a lot easier when it comes to creating content, and I hope you boys are happy that I finally covered, well, I'm on one of these bikes. Maybe I'll do the 250 in another episode, who knows. But I'm not against it. I really do enjoy it. I'm just very curious to see what direction things go in. I know the disgusting amount of hours that the OEM team put into their bikes, so the one thing that I hate seeing is, I feel like as soon as the 250 version, this factory bike, got released, I was seeing so many comments about just get rid of OEMs and just ride these. And that to me is a little bit disrespectful, because there's not many people that know the amount of time and effort that goes in making those OEM bikes. I'm lucky enough that I get to see behind the curtain. I mean, I've spent 2,000 hours on this game and I still have such a tiny idea of what goes into actually getting them in the game and how you change things and to get the end result that we do. And it kind of lives in Puboso's head for the most part, on what all the different numbers in these different programs do and what you have to change to get what result. But it's just not very helpful in the nicest way possible. I left a very long message in the development chat after the Hangtown race that we done, saying Hurls and Rum have quit the game because of the game's wonky ass physics. When are you going to update it? The community's going to die at this rate if you don't actually sort your game out. And I didn't get a response. Yeah, someone else in the chat commented something after me and he just said okay to them. So I don't get it. I really don't. I don't know what else I can do. I try my best to get across and try and get points across and how the community feels, but I don't know. Maybe that's why I've started playing a bunch of Sim now. Maybe I'm just frustrated at this game. I'm not too sure. I'm very interested to see what the future holds for these bikes and the OEM bikes as well. I'm not sure how much I can say, but I know that there is already more work going on behind the scenes for more OEM updates. And I've also seen a bunch of people speaking about why have they made this bike worse, why have they made this bike worse. That's not the goal. It's purely a case of trying things to try and make every bike a viable bike and a good bike overall. And I promise you, they are trying their best. They're not trying to ruin the game by any means. They're not trying to make one bike meta, one bike awful. They want everything to be good and usable. That is their main goal. But there's so much more than even I can comprehend that goes into making it, and it's not a simple case of just make all the bikes the same. Every bike has different, let's say, pivot points and centers of gravity, and it's not an easy job at all. So my hat goes off to them. They literally work a full-time job behind the scenes on top of their already full-time jobs to get these bikes done, and completely for free as well. And this isn't meant to be a case of slandering these factory bikes at all. I know that Jay Mertz is a very, very knowledgeable man and he's put a lot of time and effort into making these bikes too, and they are certainly fun in their own right. I need to try the 250 for sure, because I've not hopped on this 450 and instantly gone, damn, this thing is crazy overpowered. I can run insane lap times. I'm struggling a little bit, but then again, I am trying to go for some of these weird and wonderful lines on this track that maybe this bike might struggle with. Maybe on another track it would be a-okay. Not too sure, but I thought I'd finally get around to trying it and just see how they feel. And I'm very interested to see what direction we go in this game now. But don't write off the OEM pack just yet. I know there's a lot going on behind the scenes to try and bring you guys some good updates. They really, really are trying. Thank you to the 1110 mod guys for just giving us an extra bike to ride in game. And I'd be very interested to know your guys' thoughts on what you think the future of this game is. I'd be very, very interested to know, because I always see the debate of why not just do it the sim way of having all bikes available on like one dyno and so on and so forth. And I've been informed that without months and months worth of work, it's not doable at this point in time. The exact science and reasoning behind it, I really couldn't explain to you in this video. It might be something for me to ask them in an upcoming one. If you're not a part of my Discord yet, please do join it. I've got a whole section in video suggestions where the OEM guys are just kind of wanting your questions, and they want to get all the information across to you as they can, and they're going to do that via myself and Reapertop via some videos. So yeah, if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask in there as well. The link to my Discord is down below, and it's the video suggestions channel that you might want to hop in and have a look at. And I just want to say thank you for everyone recently. There's been lots of support on the videos, even ones that I feel like might be slightly boring on the surface, like the track that I'd done on, oh god, what's the track name? This is really embarrassing. I literally played it like yesterday at the point of me recording this. It was the one where it's absolutely wide open on a 450, and that was like the video title, was this track's wide open even on a 450. And like during the riding and playing, it felt like it might be getting a little bit stale at points. I was a bit worried about how the video would do. But the viewer retention time on it was actually better than normal, which I'm quite surprised by. So it kind of fills me with confidence knowing that there's not got to be this constant action-packed race where something's happening all the time. You know, it can just be a chilled video, just me and Charlie riding every now and then. And I love that, and I'm very, very thankful for that. So thank you everyone for all the support recently. I really do appreciate it. We've got some big things hopefully coming quite soon, actually, on the FXR side of things. Been speaking to them guys via email a bit more. Got some exciting stuff coming up, which I'll be happy to share with you once it's all finalised. That is going to do it from me overall. I think this is quite a fun bike. I definitely wouldn't like hop off of the my OEM Honda for this anytime soon, because I actually think I ride the OEM one a little bit better, but it's not meant to be a comparison or a competition at the end of the day. It's just meant to be another bike that we can ride for a bit of fun. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on the situation. What do you think the future of this game is, if there should just be multiple classes for all these different bikes that we get in? And I think that'll do it from me. I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope you have enjoyed the video. Please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hope you have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.